Welcome to Kentucky Horsepower, the official podcast of the Kentucky Automobile Dealers Association.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our latest edition of Kentucky Horsepower. I'm Sarah Bishop, the Vice President here at KADA, and we haven't seen you in a while, so I'm excited to be back in our podcast studio to talk with one of our good friends, Ally. Today, we have Chris Fulton and Aaron Lee from Ally. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Each of you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about where you are and what you do with Ally.
Excellent. Good morning, Sarah, and thank you for having us. My name's Chris Fulton. I'm the Area Director of Sales here for Ally in the Southeast region. My area responsibilities are obviously Kentucky, and I am based here out of Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, how about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm Aaron Lee. I'm Senior Director with Ally Dealership Insurance. I'm based in Detroit, but we offer insurance products for our dealer customers across the country.
Sure. A lot of us, I think, when I say us, I mean us on in the dealer space, think about Ally as a lender, doing floor plan, doing other stuff too, but we don't often think about the insurance side. So tell me a little bit about what Ally does on the insurance side, what kind of products you all offer.
I would love to talk about what Ally does. So on the insurance side, we provide insurance products for auto dealers. And it's really centered around protecting the dealer's assets and as well as them from liability coverage. So there's a couple different core products that we offer. One is commonly referred to as dealer open lot coverage. So this covers the physical damage for the dealer's inventory that's on their lots. And this is the product that we've written for 100 years with Ally, going back to when we were GMAC. And then more recently, over the last 10 years or so, we've been offering other products as well. And most recently this year, we just filed for a new garage package program that includes coverage for the dealer's properties, so their buildings and contents, as well as protecting them on the liability side
And
as well.
garage liability, I know, has been a huge challenge for Kentucky dealers. It's been something that's been hard for them to find. The rates have skyrocketed. So let's talk about ways for whether dealers are going with Ally or another provider, ways to help them keep their premiums down by avoiding claims effectively. Like what's happening? What are you seeing from a claims perspective that dealers can implement to help decrease their claims costs and really improve their experience?
Yeah, so the best thing that dealers can do is make sure that they've got a strong practices in place to control what's happening in their stores. They've got safety protocols. They're doing regular safety meetings. They're doing inspections to make sure that they don't have anything hanging out there that's going to be a trip and fall hazard or anything like that. They are monitoring who they have driving company vehicles. So one of the big drivers that we've seen, or what appears to be driving up some of the concerns on the liability side, is the auto liability portion of it. So that's people driving around in cars. Accidents are happening. We're seeing in certain parts of the country some trends in the way that verdicts are going, and kind of some message sending from that side of things. So that's driving up claim costs. And then so the best way you can keep that down is avoid those things from happening in the first place.
And the lawyer side of me is saying, oh yeah, because every plaintiff's attorney knows who has good insurance coverage, and it's not always the driver. If it's a situation where a dealership is involved, it's typically the dealership that's going to have the best coverage and the deepest pockets. So that's who they're going to come after.
Yeah, that's right. From what we've seen, it's very common that if there's anything happens that involves a dealer vehicle or can be tied back to the dealership in any way, that there's a good chance they're going to get pulled into any kind of lawsuit that happens.
And let's talk about theft. ways to deter it, ways to prevent it, what the trends are, what are the latest ways folks are stealing?
Yeah, so we've seen some interesting trends on the theft side over the years. So for a while, thinking back during the COVID era, what we were seeing is a an increase, a dramatic increase in just the theft off of dealer lots. So people were going out and stealing cars off of dealer lots, and kind of the more what you might think of as a conventional vehicle theft, where
Sure.
the vehicle's sitting there, somebody goes, takes it, and takes it off the lot. That's a
Fewer people are out in the world because it's COVID. So
Yeah.
go on out, steal a car off a lot.
Yep. So we saw a lot of that. That's kind of tapered off a little bit. It's still higher than it was pre-COVID, but the frequency has tapered down a little bit. And what we're seeing now over the last couple of years is an increase in what we refer to as cargo theft or transportation theft. So this is
We've
where,
we've started
go
to
ahead.
see that in Kentucky too, where it's people posing as carriers, sometimes very
Yes.
convincingly.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is a concern that we've noticed, and we're looking into and trying to really just create awareness for all the dealers out there that this is a thing that's out there, that people, when you go on these load boards and putting out vehicles for transportation, to be aware that there are bad actors out there that could be looking to take advantage of that situation.
Have you seen any of the tools that dealers are using to try to prevent this? I know the ones that I have spoken to that have either been a victim or the car they were receiving was stolen from, another state or whatever. So the other state is the victim. But have you seen any sort of deterrent systems that have worked?
Yeah, the best deterrent system that we've seen so far is really just paying attention and doing your due diligence when you are either on either end of the transport
Mhm.
uh, arrangement. So it's making sure that you are looking at who you're doing business with. You're looking up, making sure that the company that is bidding for this job is a valid company. They've been around and established. They've got good reviews. You're making sure that they're a valid entity. And then when somebody comes to pick up the vehicle, you're doing your due diligence and making sure that they have all the credentials, and they have the information that proves that they're the ones that you contracted with for this job.
That they are who they say they are, that they have the documentation that they need, and they're arriving when you expect them to, correct?
Yep, that's right. Yeah. So if you think about it from a dealer's perspective, all of the paperwork that we require and due diligence that we go through to release a vehicle when somebody comes in and purchases a new car, just applying that same kind of thought process to when you're releasing a vehicle to a company who says that they're there to transport it to somewhere else.
Right. It's got to be more than a big truck and a vest.
Yes, that's right. And we've seen situations where dealers have just made a few key changes and have drastically impacted those results. So one example is we have a dealer that they were on the selling side of the transaction. So somebody came to pick up a vehicle that they were selling, that they had sold to someone else. The person came in, they showed them the VIN, so they had some level of information to show that they were there to pick up that vehicle. And then they released that vehicle to them, found out a few days later that it had disappeared and it had been stolen. So going forward, they implemented some practices that included, there's only, in their case, it was one person that is they're the only person that has the authority to release a vehicle for transportation. Not sure that you need to go down to just having one person, but you need to have a plan for, these are the people
Sure.
that are authorized to do this. He has a checklist that he goes through to make sure that they're validating who that person is and that they're actually there to pick up the vehicle.
And when you have designated people, it makes it easier to make sure that your folks have the education and training they need to have that checklist that if it's
Absolutely.
just anybody on the, anybody at a management level can do it, then they may not have had that same level of expertise.
Yeah, that's right. And then they actually had a situation come up a few months later where somebody came in to pick up a car. The person who they talked to said, "Hang on, I need to go get Billy, who's the person that is authorized to," and I'm making up a name, obviously, but to go get
Billy,
this
can't
person
trust him.
he's the only one that's authorized to do this. Let me go get him. They went and got him, and then when that person talked to the guy who came to pick up the vehicle, there were some challenging things about they weren't able to provide the original bill of lading or some documentation that was being asked for. The person ended up leaving. They saw him talking on his cell phone for a minute in the parking lot, and then he drove off. So it was clearly somebody who was there that wasn't supposed to be the one picking up the vehicle. So they were able to avoid that loss by implementing those practices.
It's really, honestly, from a theft perspective, it's really advanced and a little impressive, the lengths that they go to really, it's believable, guys. It's not just dealerships aren't paying attention and are getting duped. Like it's pretty believable.
Absolutely. And in a lot of cases, from what we have seen, this isn't necessarily just uh, regular run-of-the-mill bad actors out there that are implementing this. This is, in some cases, appears to be linked to organized crime, and organized crime
Yeah.
is organized. They do a
They
good
have a
job.
long-standing reputation for a
Yeah.
reason. Yeah, it's not your typical local thieves. It's a larger scale for
Yeah.
sure. All right. Anything? What else should dealers be on the lookout for? Are there other trends that you're seeing?
Yeah, so the other things are still out there, and I think most dealers are probably aware of. We talked about the traditional theft
Mhm.
a little bit, and just some of the basic things to watch out for. There are making sure you're keeping track of where your keys are, key management, inventory management. We've seen a trend lately of a lot of dealers going to using GPS uh,
Yeah.
services to keep track of their inventory, and they can put geofencing around it. So as soon as a car leaves the lot, if it wasn't planned, they'll get an alert that says this vehicle is on the move, and so that they can react quickly if they have something taken off the lot.
Are you still seeing? I know in the last few years it had been a trend. I don't know if it's still going on. The key fob duplication, the kind of radio
Yep.
situation there, is that still something that's happening pretty
Yeah.
often?
Yeah. Yeah, that's still out there. It's still being used, and as well as thieves just finding ways to get a hold of the keys. So that the old take a test drive, and when the person's not looking, they switch out the key fob and give
Yeah.
them a fake one so that they can come back later and take the car.
Okay. What else do I need to tell dealers as we get towards the holiday season and we got a lot of folks coming onto the lots? It's a big sales time. Give me 3 steps that our dealers can take to make sure, or one or two, whatever is the most important to you, that they can take to kind of avoid being victims.
Yeah. So theft off the lot, just key management, keep track of your inventory, and make sure that after hours, if somebody comes and gets a hold of a car, they don't have a way to easily get it off of the lot. So that's blocking the exits, entrances, gates,
Okay.
rocks, posts, things like that. And then the one thing that we didn't talk about is false pretense that is uh,
It's everywhere.
still out there and still growing. Thieves are continuing to get more sophisticated with that as well. So the keys there are just making sure you know who your customer is. You're doing the proper identity verification. There are ID scanners out there, for example, that can help with that. And then working with your lender and your insurance company on things that can be put in place to help avoid those.
What I have seen, especially on high dollar vehicles that are getting stolen, these are the more grand schemes. it's unlikely to be recovered if it's not recovered in the first how many hours because it's going overseas or it's getting shipped in a cargo container somewhere.
Yes, prompt notification is important. That's where the GPS can be helpful because it can provide real-time notification. Then they can call the authorities. And the important part about calling in the claim either to your insurance company or to the police or both is getting it on that national database to where if that license plate or VIN pops up anywhere along the way, they're going to be able to identify that as a stolen vehicle. Whereas if we wait days or weeks to report it as stolen, something may have happened with that vehicle, but nobody knew that it was a stolen vehicle because it hadn't been reported.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to tell our dealers about?
I don't think so. I think again the key thing for me right now is just awareness of these things going on out there, particularly around the transportation theft that seems to be it's been out there for a while, but it seems to be the one that's ramping up lately. So
Yeah.
just making sure that dealers are aware of that and reach out to your insurance agent and have these conversations about what you can be doing.
All right, sounds good. And if folks are wanting to reach out to Ally for their insurance needs, who should they reach out to? Is that you? Is that Chris? Who wants to do the
Actually,
plug?
I will take that on. So if any dealer is interested, they can definitely reach out to me. I'm one of the local contacts. My name's Chris Fulton. We also have Joe Accavetti that services the territory, as well as his executive director, Walter Morsetti. So any of us can help you, and we're looking forward to helping you down the road if you have insurance needs.
All right. Thank you all so much for taking the time today. I appreciate it. If anybody has additional questions for them that you want to send to me, I'm happy to put you in touch with these guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Bye.